So if you've clicked on this video, you basically want to sort yourself out, okay? And it doesn't need to be for 2025, but let's focus on that because that's when we're all on a high, start of the new year, so why not? I'm going to be sharing with you guys today 10 habits that I've implemented into my life, and I feel like they've made like a massive change just to the overall quality of my life and how I feel about myself, how I feel about life in general. So I thought let me share this on a YouTube video. So if you're new here, my name is Atia and my channel is all about, I would say, just self-development, growth, and just basically becoming the best version of yourself, which we all want to do, right? So you've definitely clicked on the right video. Now, I'm someone who's always working on myself, but I would say when I got really serious was September this year, because I just felt like I was on this roller coaster of up and down, and there seems to be no like consistency with my habits. Now, the thing with the lack of consistency is you just don't build momentum, and you always feel like you're starting from day one all over again. So I would do something for a few days, build a bit of a routine, and then somehow fuck it up. So I'll have to start all over again. So the goal of this video is to tell you about the habits I've started, how I've implemented them, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and maybe there's something you can take away from this that you can implement into your own life. None of these habits are in any particular order because this is more personalized to what works for you. Now, something can be more important to you than it is to me, or vice versa. They are in no particular order. But I do want to point out one very important thing, which is please do not try to do 10 these habits or any habits at the same time from day one, because it's just not, it's too much of a massive change. So maybe implement one or two and build it over time. So like I said, I started in September to set me up for the new year. So that's a few months before the new year. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is exercise. Exercise is a big one for me, and it's actually not for aesthetic reasons. Yeah, I would say I'm nowhere near my body goal. The funny thing is, I don't know if this is relatable for you girls, but when I was at my dream body, I didn't even appreciate it. Like, I didn't even think about it, I didn't appreciate it. And now I'm just so far from it. But the main reason I'm focusing on exercise is more for mental health reasons. I'm an entrepreneur. Now, this isn't only for entrepreneurs, by the way. I think all of us have some sort of, like we will have different types of mental health issues, and exercise is such a good form of release. And it's just there's just so much more benefit to exercise, just rather than just looking hot. So it just keeps you healthy, better sleep, better mood, healthier heart, healthier body. Like, there's just so many benefits. So with exercise, how I became consistent, let's talk about that. Okay, so firstly, I was just exercising here and there, so there was no routine per se, but it wasn't great because I was doing solo gym sessions. So what happens with solo gym sessions for me is I can't stick to it because I just find it very boring. Like, the first few weeks were okay, I would say, because I was listening to my favorite music, but then after a period of time, I realized I'm just doing the same exercises, like the cross trainer, the rowing machine, and I was just too lazy. I knew I had to do strength training, but I'm just too lazy to come up with exercises. Another thing that puts me off is my form even correct? Like, I have no idea like what the hell I'm doing in the gym, and I think that really puts me off. And then I tried the 75 hard challenge. That challenge is not for girls, by the way. It's not realistic to do 75 days of exercise, indoor, outdoor, 75 days straight. Can't fuck up any of the days, because if you do, you start all over again. It's very unrealistic because when I'm on my periods, I don't work out for day one, two, sometimes even day three, because I'm bloody dying. So challenge is not sustainable for me long term. And I was consistent with it until I started my periods, and I was like, oh, okay, so does that mean I have to start all over again, or it doesn't count? So I was just like, you know what? effort because I'm basically doing some version of the challenge anyway myself because I am working out daily, I am reading daily, I'm drinking water. So I thought, nah, I'm not gonna do it because I feel like with some challenges, if it brings you more stress, is it really worth it? And certain days when I'm working all day long, I can't fit in 2 workouts. So what do I do? Do I deprive myself of sleep to fit in a workout? So yeah, it's not really sustainable. So another thing, okay, so I think I've just waffled on about things that didn't work. What did work for me though was workout classes. Workout classes are amazing. So I've joined this coaching facility. They do Metcon classes, high intensity classes. They also do yoga, and it's like a membership, £95 and you get unlimited classes. And it's great because it's at the same time every day. I think if you want to build a new habit, you have to do the same thing at the same time every day. I'm really bad at it, but I'm trying to get there. The main thing is we're trying to improve. Okay, so every evening I would have these classes. In the winter, it's perfect because I don't want to be wasting my daylight hours. Daylight hours are for, making content, enjoying the daylight. So in the evening, it's just, I love going for a workout class in the evening. I can't explain how good it makes me feel. So yeah, so that worked for me. And I do feel like if I was to do the 75 hard challenge, I can't do the 75, the 20 hard challenge, 20 days straight. I could do it with those classes because I can go for 20 days straight until I start my period. So that could work. Now for you, that can mean, so basically why did it work? It worked because it was something I was enjoying and looking forward to. So I personally feel that it would work, anything would work for you if you're enjoying it. So that could mean for you daily walk with a podcast. It could mean a gym buddy. So anything that'll make you look forward to it and be consistent. Because what we're focusing on is long-term sustainability and enjoying ourselves. So yeah, and you can do something long term and sustain it if you're enjoying it, let's be honest. So yeah, that's the first one. Right, let's move on to number two. Number two for me is reading. Reading is a non-negotiable for me, definitely at the top of the list. And it's because I feel like as a human or even as an entrepreneur, I've made a lot of mistakes which could have been avoided if I was really actively reading and learning about certain topics that I struggle with in life. A good example would be my business. I started my business 5-6 years ago. In the middle, at some period, I lost everything and I had to start from scratch. And I feel like those mistakes, and I'm 100% accountable for what went wrong. And I feel like it could have been avoided if I didn't have certain knowledge gaps. So I take reading very seriously now, and I've just got a more of a soft life approach. Soft life approach? Yes, I've got more of a soft life approach to life where whenever I'm doing something, I read about it, I learn about it, and then I execute. Now, I think in the past, I've just been an executor and I'm known as the queen of execution, but I feel like after a certain point, like you need to plan and prep. You need a strategy and you need to learn about that topic. I think I'm done with the whole learn on the job thing. I've done that so many times. I've had multiple businesses and I've done that so many times. So I'm definitely in a phase where I want to plan and prep, read and learn. Reading, I definitely think focus on topics that you actually need help with. So if you're someone that struggles with confidence, maybe read books about confidence. I think there's a book called How to Talk to Anyone. I don't struggle with talking to people, but I think that's quite interesting and you can always get better, right? So I think that'll be my next book. There's another book called Surrounded by Idiots. That's something I want to look into. I don't know why I'm telling you my wish list right now, but there's another book by Ryan Holiday called Destiny is Discipline or Discipline is Destiny. Want to check that out as well. Okay, let's go right into number three. Number three is unwinding and sleeping early. I'm gonna be lying to you if I tell you that I do this every night because yesterday was just not that night. It was Christmas Eve. The vibes were in the air. Not that I celebrate Christmas, but you know that holiday vibe. And then I had a late dinner. I was watching a movie. Then I got into bed with my phone and I was scrolling, and about pretty shit after that, if I'm being honest. But this is the point. This is the point of this video, because let's acknowledge what feels shit and not do it again, or like minimize it basically. This one is crucial for me because let me tell you that I used to be that overstimulated person, okay, that would struggle to fall asleep, and I was like, oh, why am I not falling asleep? Like I would be tired and my eyes would feel like, oh, but I couldn't fall asleep. And the reason for that was I was overstimulated, and because I've spent like the whole day running around like a headless chicken, and straight after that I'm trying to like go into sleep straight away, which doesn't actually work because you're not giving your, you know, your mind and body the time to just relax and unwind. So I think to unwind and relax, give yourself at least 45 minutes to an hour, and yeah, like really romanticize the process. Have a peppermint tea, maybe have a bubble bath, maybe listen to some nice soft music, just really romanticize the process. Basically your way of telling your body that I care about you, and just nurturing your soul, your mind, your body, taking care of yourself. Okay, when you take care of yourself in that way, it reduces your stress levels, it keeps your cortisol levels low, because you're really pouring into your own cup, and that's what we're all about here. Okay, number 4, let's get into number 4. Okay, so number 4 is cutting out devices. I think you knew this one was coming, right? Like you must have known. That devices is so important, okay? It's not something that we should be overlooking at all. Now, it's because, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm an early 90s baby, so I have experienced life without a smartphone. And let me tell you, it was beautiful. Basically, we would fall asleep because there was nothing else to do. We didn't have a phone to scroll on, there was no internet. TV shows were on at specific time. We didn't have Netflix so we can watch anything at any time on demand. And I think certain restrictions and rules are so important. I think it really does help us stay in some form of a routine. But yeah, going back to my point, cutting out devices. I'll be honest with you, I do struggle with this a lot. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'll just play on my phone for a bit, and before you know it, it's been a few hours, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life? What is this loser behavior? Because you're literally scrolling on your socials and just watching other people live their life when you should be going and living yours. Like, what the hell are you doing? So my advice for this one is have a cut-off period. So say if you're going to bed at 10, maybe the cut-off period is 8, put your phone away in another room, locked away, you're not touching that thing. If you want any form of, I don't know, entertainment, maybe read a book, maybe watch a TV show that's light-hearted, but stay away from your phone, okay? It's actually doing you no good. Also, I think it's very unhealthy to know what everyone is up to all the time, because it creates a form of like, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. Like it just makes your brain very chaotic. So I definitely recommend not being on your phone all. I go as far as putting my phone in another room before bedtime. Of course, I can't do it all the time because I am human and I have weaknesses. But don't feel too bad about it, because one thing I have realized, one of my favorite YouTubers mentioned it in a video. His name is Ali. He talked about like how we're trying to stay off social media, but the people that work in these companies, like think about the people that work at Instagram or Facebook or YouTube even, so their goal is to keep us on that platform as long as possible. Imagine that's your goal. Like, so if that's their goal, we're basically fighting against their skills and their goals. And these are some smartest people, okay? So we get sucked in for sure. So if we take Instagram for example, so last night I saw a video about, what was it? I think it was acne. Now, Instagram noticed that I watched this video and I read the comments and I was very invested because I'm going through a little breakout myself. Best believe the next few slides were very similar type of posts. Not the same creator, but it's very similar type of posts. And that just kept me on the platform for longer. Not try to fight it. Let's come up with strategies of little rules for ourselves. So have a cut-off period, put the damn phone away, and that way you won't get distracted. Okay, so remember at the start of the video I said these are in no particular order, but I do feel like I should tell you guys that this habit that I'm going to talk about next is the one I started off with, and this is the one that actually built some momentum for me, and that started it all off. Okay, so this one is very important to me, and I highly recommend if you were to start off with just one habit, this should be the first one for sure. Sorry, I keep looking over there. I'm just so paranoid that the audio is gonna F up again, so I'm just making sure it's recording correctly. Habit number 5 is, well, there's different versions of it. So journaling, keeping a diary, tracking, brain dumping, so anything of that form, making lists. So I started off with journaling. I know journaling is like a trend these days, everybody's recommending it, but for me it happened quite naturally. I think one day I just felt like I had a really bad day and I felt like I wanted to really write down my emotions. And by the way, this is not just for my bad day. Sometimes I'm having a really good day and I want to write down my emotions. Also, I've had periods where I'm having a really good day and I feel on top of the world, and I've actually set myself like voice notes on, I think on WhatsApp you can send yourself a voice note now, so I've done that as well. So if you don't feel like, if you're not a writer and you don't like writing, maybe a voice note, like, or a video diary for yourself. So any form of documentation, I think, really helps. So I would write down my bad day, what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, what I'm planning to do about it. Because listen, girls, I do not subscribe to the victim mindset. Why this works is because you can look back. You basically have like an evidence portfolio of things you can look back at and think, okay, so I'm going through a shit period, then this is what I did about it, and this is what it's, I think just documenting and writing things down, it really helps. Now, when I realized the magic of journaling or writing things down or tracking things, I started doing it for my business as well. Basically, I started writing down, this is what we're going to do this week, this is what we're going to do this week, this is the plan. I have like a massive to-do list that I've got to work through for the next few months. So I think these kind of things really help because you're tracking your progress, and once you tick things off or once you look back and you're like, this is what I went up to, I don't know, it just does something to you. Putting pen to paper really has changed my life massively, and I highly recommend it. Even if it means, like, you can start this today, by the way. You don't need to buy one of those fancy journals. Literally just get a bloody notebook out, get a pen, put the date down, and you just write about how you're feeling. I think you discover more about yourself. And it's definitely a form of self-love doing that for yourself. Giving your time to release those emotions is definitely such a beautiful form of self-love. Okay, so let's go on to number 6. Number 6 is building a cleaning regimen, a routine, a system that you can follow long term. Now, if you realize with all these habits, we're focusing on sustainability, being able to sustain you long term. So that's the main focus here. So I believe that your home is a reflection of you. If it's messy, basically your mind is a mess. If it's clean, things are organized, things are flowing nicely. So I think definitely put in that work and effort to make your place look homely, nice, clean. Now, maintaining a clean home, like, you might find this very hard to believe, but people that have clean homes literally clean every day, no joke. So I think this once a week deep clean does it. You need to have like a system in place and daily maintenance to keep your home clean. And I do feel like when my my apartment is clean, and I do feel like when my apartment is clean, I just feel so much better. I'm just way more productive, and I'm just overall having a much better day. Like, I don't enjoy my day if my place is a mess. Now, how you can do this though, everybody can do this. You don't need to be like overly clean people to do this. You just need a system. Now, the system that I have in place is, so for context, me and my husband have a 2-bed apartment, 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, living, kitchen is one area. Now, how to maintain this now, I completely understand that some of you guys might have kids, bigger families, but there's definitely something you can take away from what I'm telling you here. Okay, so you could do Mondays, bedrooms, Tuesdays, bathrooms, Wednesdays, living and kitchen. Now, when I'm listing these, I don't mean a quick sweep, I mean deep clean. So have a 1-hour deep clean for each of these areas. And the rest of the week is just maintenance. So you don't need to have a Sunday massive deep clean. You know, the Sunday massive deep clean people take hours and hours doing? You don't need that. You just need an hour every day, 45 minutes to an hour every day, of each specific area. Fridays, bed sheets, you know, Tuesdays, the bins, whatever. Just split it up. Wednesdays, laundry, split up the tasks. And by the way, cleaning doesn't have to be some boring chore, like you can actually really enjoy it. Now, I suggest habit stacking for this. So, say if whenever I'm cleaning, I'm always playing a podcast. If you're not in the mood for a podcast, you want to listen to the music, do that. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and just get on with it. Like, don't overthink it. Okay, if you have a certain period in the morning, like 7 to 8 p.m., I'm just going to clean everything up. Start, like, I really do like cleaning in the morning. I don't know what it is. I just wake up with so much energy and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to organize, get clean, and then clean the whole place and I light a candle. I just love it. I just love the whole experience. And yeah, I really enjoy it. And I definitely suggest you fit this into one of your habits. And I do think it's something that we should be doing anyway, but I feel like a lot of us just, I don't know, we overlook it. We definitely overlook it. And then before we know it, there's clutter. I have definitely taken my cleaning game way more seriously after I don't want to say read because I got the audiobook. You know, the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Amazing. Once I listened to that, I think I've been in Marie Kondo mode by default. So I'm always decluttering and getting things organized. I get rid of things that I'm not going to use. And yeah, that's just basically my default setting now, and it's done me wonders. Number 7 is exploring new hobbies. Girl, let me tell you, if you don't have any hobbies, you are living a very boring life and something needs to change. Hobbies are basically a way of exploring yourself, getting to know yourself better. It's a bit like dating yourself, really. Because let's be honest, if you were getting to know a guy, you would really get to know him, what he's into, what he likes, what he doesn't like. So why are you not doing that for yourself? It doesn't make sense. So do that for yourself. Explore what you're into, what you're not into, what kind of things you like. And the only way to do that is by trying new things. I prioritize my hobbies more than like other people, and I don't regret it because my business that I've been running for over 5 years now literally started from a hobby, and a hobby I took too seriously to the point that it just became too serious and it became a business. Basically, exploring new hobbies is important, and I'm not saying it because you need to start a business, but just get to know yourself a bit better. There's more to life than just your 9 to 5 job and hanging with family and friends. Like, what about you? What about you time? What about having some me time, getting to know yourself, what kind of things you're into? Now, let me give you some ideas for hobbies. Now, hobbies can be a sport, it can be reading books, it could be creating something, it could be baking. Any form of creating really can be a hobby. Something you like, YouTube can be a hobby, starting a podcast, something for yourself. Find a hobby, okay? Spend some time with yourself. You don't need to be constantly surrounded by people. Spend some time with yourself, get to know yourself. Solo dating as well, like go for lunch yourself, date yourself, buy yourself some damn flowers, like, just really get to know yourself. And yeah, I think hobbies are very important. Now we're moving on to number 8, and number 8 is patience and gratitude. This one is so important. If you're not patient and if you don't express gratitude, you're basically blocking your blessings. You're basically telling God that, yeah, you've given me so much, but I want more. Okay, you don't want to be that. Okay, so let's focus on what you already have, what you're already grateful for, and really enjoying the journey, okay, to where you want to go. Now, I can 100% tell you that if you got the thing that you really want right now, you just would not be that grateful. We definitely appreciate things more when we really grinded and worked for it for years and years. And it just happens suddenly, and then the level of patience, the level of gratitude we have because we've had so much patience is on another level. So definitely patience and gratitude is a big one. I think for me, patience itself is a big one because I feel like I would rush life a lot. Like, I would be like, I need to get to this place and then I'll be happy, and now I need to do this and then I'll be happy. Why can't you be happy right now? Why? What's stopping you? You can enjoy life as it is right now. Okay, while striving for more, but you can still enjoy life as it is right now. Now, gratitude is also a big one because, like, what you think is shit for you, for someone, that's their dream life. Now, there's been moments in my life I'm thinking, oh, my life's so like stagnant, it's not really going the way. Like, I felt miserable, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm so ungrateful because someone else would look at my life and think, oh my god, she's so lucky, she's got this, she's so lucky, she's self employed, she's so lucky she doesn't have to worry. Like, so really, I'm not saying set your standards lower, but I'm saying you can still be patient and grateful and still work on yourself. It's not one or the other, you can do both. So definitely think about that and definitely come to a place where you can be happy right now and enjoy your life right now. Enjoy the grind right now. You don't need to get to you don't need to become a millionaire to enjoy your life. You could enjoy your life as it is right now. Because if it was a matter of money and success, like all these successful people, all these millionaires will be loving life. But have we not heard about millionaires committing suicide? We absolutely have. So it's got nothing to do with the amount of money or success. It's to do with your mindset. If you can be happy with what you have right now. Also, by the way, too much success too early can be quite a bad thing too, because you're probably not even ready for it. So I think if you're working towards a goal and it's just not happening for you, it's probably because you're not that person yet who can receive that. That's why I'm working on myself. I'm filling up those knowledge gaps. So when the blessings come, because life is full of abundance, when the blessings come, I'm going to be ready for it because I'm prepping. So just see as you're in your prepping season, okay? Not your losing season, you're in your prepping season and things will come at the right time. Okay, so let's move along to number 9. And number 9 is we want to prioritize creating over consuming. Creating or producing over consuming. And what I mean by that is, like, what are you doing with your time? If you've got a job, you're working 8 hours and then you're sleeping another 8 hours, but you still have plenty of time to be creating something. And yeah, you can create maybe some content, you could probably start a business, but there's just so much you can do with your time than just consuming. Now, in terms of consuming, I just mean like watching Netflix, being on social media all day, scrolling. I'll be so honest with you, if I didn't have a business, I just wouldn't be on social media at all. I just feel like it's such a waste of time. Unless you're monetizing it in some way, like you've got a business there or something, or you're trying to get ideas for your business, it just really doesn't make so much sense to me. So definitely prioritize creating over consuming. Like I said, I'm an early 90s baby, so we didn't have the internet when we were like very young. We weren't ever bored, by the way. We do other things. Like I remember as a kid, I would work on so many like DIY projects, and that's kind of how I learned to do little things like sewing and making things, and just by creating it, I could, it could even be like cooking, coming up with new recipes, learning how to bake, learning how to sew. Like there's so many different options, and I do feel like you're really missing out on life if you're just consuming all day long. Like, what are you really doing for yourself? I feel like if I was a Gen Z, my childhood would be very different. And when I think of that, it actually makes me really sad. Like when I have kids, like, well, are they going to be on their iPad all day? Yeah, the thought of it is just scary itself. I do feel like there needs to be some level of you being creative with your time and making something or doing something that doesn't involve you just non-stop consumption all day long. Okay, so we're finally on number 10, and number 10 is isolation. You can call it isolation, you could call it hibernation, you could call it monk mode, whatever you want to call it. So basically, this is a period of time that is basically just for yourself. It's just to disconnect from the world and really laser focus on yourself and your goals. I highly recommend this if you're constantly distracted by people and their energies and tasks. So this is a period you tell everyone, leave me the F alone so I can just focus on myself. Please don't feel guilty doing this, because honestly, you don't owe anyone anything that deeply. Of course, we have parents, siblings that we need to be there for, but you just let them know, like, if you really urgently need me, I'm here. I'll probably see you once a week or every 2 weeks, but this is the time I need for myself. Even with your friends, like, maybe see them once a month or every few weeks, but this period is literally just to focus on yourself and laser focus on your goals. Now, what you can focus on during this period is some of these habits that I mentioned. You can also focus on sleeping early, focus on exercise. So any goal that you have that you want to laser focus on, you put all your energy into that goal. And I do believe that when you focus in one area, that area does thrive. And then once you've got into like a good routine and it's pretty much on autopilot, you can go back to living your life. But definitely have periods in the year where you do have an isolation period where you just focus on yourself without feeling guilty, without feeling shit. And I don't know, I just feel like I do see a lot of people these days that don't prioritize themselves. They're too busy filling other people's cups, and like, how can you fill from an empty cup, really? Like, are you pouring into yourself? So I think it's really important to use that period to really pour into yourself and focus on yourself. It really doesn't come from a place of like being selfish. Like, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, by the way, but it's not from that perspective. It's from a perspective of you're having a period to just focus in one area. And I do find this quite strange because when it comes to like when you have exams, people will leave you alone and they're not like, oh, come spend time with me when you're like focused on a goal. So I do feel like just because you're not studying for exams, like this is the exam of life. Like you need to be really focused during certain periods of your life to get to where you want to be. So have that time to yourself and don't bloody feel guilty about it. Okay, do you? And I realized during periods where I am in my hibernation mode, I just don't feel chaotic because I've put rules in place for myself that I won't be doing this, this, and this. So naturally, I feel so much more relaxed. I don't feel stressed because the decision has been made and the plan is to focus on myself. So I really do not need to worry about I need to be here and there and everywhere and life is chaotic. It doesn't need to feel that way. I just need to focus on one or two things properly, and yeah, I definitely recommend that. Okay, so that's all for today, my loves, and yeah, I'll see you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like because I want to make more of this type of content, to be honest. I do feel like it brings me a lot of joy when, when you've learned something and then you share it. And I feel like YouTube is the place to do that because you will really find your people on YouTube, because the kind of people that will watch this type of video are basically your people, aren't they? So I do think this is the place to be doing this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a very long video, but thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye.